Welcome to the special edition of WHNN.
It's December 16th, 1969, and this week we'll be revisiting the major events of the past 10 years in preparation for the next decade.
In 1961, President John F. Kennedy visited South Vietnam and updated us on the political turmoil in the country, and he advised us to aid them in order to confront the Viet Cong threats. Many Americans in other countries were afraid that if Vietnam fell under communism, others would follow, and by 1962 we had 9,000 troops in South Vietnam. In 1963, 2 U.S. destroyers were torpedoed in the Gulf of Tonkin, and Congress gave Johnson broad war-making powers, and he planned regular bombing raids in North Vietnam, codenamed Operation Roaring Thunder. By 1967, U.S. casualties had reached 15,000 killed and 109,000 wounded. Soldiers began to lose morale, and Americans at home turned against the war as well, and in October of 1967, 35,000 demonstrators staged a massive anti-war protest outside the Pentagon. And in January of 1968, the desperate communist North Vietnam planned a coordinated series of attacks on more than 100 cities and towns in South Vietnam, killing and wounding many soldiers and civilians. Then Westmoreland requested an additional 200,000 troops. Johnson dedicated the rest of his term to seeking peace and put a halt on the bombings. In May of last year, peace talks began between the U.S. and North Vietnam. President Nixon began his term withdrawing troops and giving South Vietnam control over ground operations. He continued peace talks, and between then and now there have been hundreds of anti-war marches and gatherings. The largest took place in Washington, D.C., with 250,000 Americans gathering peacefully. I think I speak for all my fellow Americans when I say I believe this war ends.
In an interesting turn of events, we have received more information regarding the Berlin Wall that is currently dividing the city. In one night, August 13, 1961, the East German authorities built a guarded concrete barrier that physically and ideologically divided Berlin. It splits the city between the east and the west and also encircles the west half of Berlin. According to East German citizens, the wall was created because West Berlin was a geographic loophole through which thousands of East Germans fled to the Democratic West. The East German authorities acted in response. They sealed off entrance points and equipped the wall with sentry towers and minefields. We'll have to see how the wall holds up in the coming weeks and years.
This broadcast is brought to you by Papermate Point Guard. Felt tip pens, now with a super hard tip cover. Point Guard.
Keeps tough lines tough, and fine lines fine. Keeps bold lines bold. Point Guard.
Hi, I'm Erin, and I am here with breaking news about the Peace Corps. March 1st, 1961 officially marks the launch of the Peace Corps, which was actually inspired by John F. Kennedy's campaign speeches back in 1960. And there are actually also a few more founders that worked with him to get this to work. Eunice Kennedy Shriver, Sergeant Shriver, Mark Shriver, and Harris Woolford. And they all worked together to make this program. And what it actually is a program designed to provide foreign aid to developing nations. And a couple of examples would be Cameroon, Ethiopia, Guyana, and Ghana. And here's actually a picture of John F. Kennedy. And Ghana was actually the first to participate in the Peace Corps. The reason that the Peace Corps was formed was because John wanted to have global peace. He wanted to have development and freedom, this actually was the outgrowth of the Cold War. He also wanted to help improve technology, environmental protection, fighting hunger, and fixing disease issues. And yeah, so here is a symbol of the Peace Corps.
In the late 1960s, a Zodiac killer terrorized Northern California, killing at least 5 people and claimed to have killed 37. He taunted police and made threats through letters sent to area newspapers. On December 20th of 1968, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen were shot and killed. Then on July 4th of 1969, Darlene Ferrin and Michael McGough were shot. Darlene died, but Michael McGough survived. He was able to make out a description of the Zodiac. Then, on August 1st of 1969, San Francisco Chronicle, San Francisco Examiner, and Vallejo Times Herald all received identical handwritten letters. It revealed specific details of the murders inside with a distinct symbol. It also included 3 different codes that the Zodiac demanded to be printed on newspapers or else he was going to kill again. If few days later, a couple cracked the code and it said, quote, "I like killing because it's so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all to kill." His motives were, quote, "The best part of it is that when I die, I will be reborn in paradise and those I have killed will become my slaves. I will not give you my name because you would try to slow me down or stop my collecting slaves for afterlife." Then, on September 27th of 1969, Cecilia Shepard and Brian Hartnell were tied up and stabbed multiple times. Before that happening, Cecilia said she saw a man in the sky with a zodiac symbol on his chest, hiding behind a tree. Sadly, Cecilia died, but Brian survived. He was also able to describe who shot them. Then, on October 11th of 1969, Captain Paul Stein was shot on the head. A person nearby was able to see what happened and gave description to the police of who shot him. Despite not looking like the drawings shown here, there are 3 suspects to who could have been the Zodiac killer. 1 being Earl William Best Jr., 2 Arthur Leigh Allen, and 3 Lawrence King Kay. Even though they do not look like the drawings shown above, there are evidence to why one of these could possibly be the Zodiac killer. But to this day, the mystery remains unsolved.